Beautiful freedom in affiliation with the Cogitating Ceviché present. Ethical Leadership in Times of Crisis, A Testament to Conservative Values, by Callista Freiheit. Narration by Amazon Polly. Introduction. In moments of profound uncertainty and challenge, the essence of leadership is distilled through the lens of strategic acumen and the prism of deeply held ethical convictions. Throughout the annals of history, there have been luminaries whose guidance in times of dire need was illuminated by their unwavering moral compasses and a steadfast commitment to conservative principles. These figures stand as testaments to the power of leadership anchored in the bedrock of ethical integrity and principled decision-making. This exploration into the narratives of such leaders seeks not just to recount their legacies, but to unearth the foundational importance of ethics and faith-based decision-making that characterize their leadership. From the battlegrounds of global conflict to the internal strife rending nations apart, these leaders, rooted in conservative values, have navigated societies through the stormiest of waters. Their stories serve as beacons, highlighting the indelible impact of leading with the mind and, importantly, with the heart and soul guided by a moral and ethical framework. In delving into these historical and contemporary examples, we aim to better understand the intrinsic link between ethical leadership and conservative values. This connection transcends mere policy or strategy to touch on the essence of guiding with conviction and moral clarity in times of crisis. Winston Churchill, Steadfast Resolve and Moral Clarity. Winston Churchill stands as a colossus in the pantheon of leaders whose tenure has defined the very essence of ethical leadership. At a time when the shadow of tyranny threatened to engulf the world, Churchill's leadership during World War II was a beacon of hope, rooted in an unshakable commitment to the principles of freedom and democracy. His oratory, infused with a deep sense of duty and honor, did more than rally a beleaguered nation. It underscored the profound connection between conservative values and the capacity to steer through crises with moral clarity. Churchill's speeches, laden with references to the indomitable spirit of human freedom and the inherent right to self-determination, were not mere rhetoric, but the articulation of a deeply held belief in the virtues of democracy and the rule of law. Even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, his insistence on the moral high ground highlighted a critical facet of conservative thought: the conviction that principles should not be compromised for expediency. His tenure is a powerful reminder of the luminosity of ethical leadership that does not waver in principle. Churchill's leadership was not just about strategic decisions made in war rooms, but about inspiring a collective belief in the righteousness of the cause and the moral imperative of victory. In the darkest hours, his unwavering resolve and clarity of vision demonstrated that navigating the tempest of war with a compass calibrated by steadfast ethical principles is possible. Churchill's legacy teaches us that, even in the gravest crises, leadership anchored in conservative values can guide societies toward the light of victory. Abraham Lincoln, Unity and the Moral Imperative of Freedom. Abraham Lincoln's presidency, set against the backdrop of a nation torn asunder by civil war and the deep moral scourge of slavery, stands as a profound testament to the power of ethical leadership guided by conservative principles. When the United States was confronted with its most profound moral and existential crisis, Lincoln's leadership was characterized by an unwavering commitment to the principle that all men are created equal, a truth held to be self-evident but grossly betrayed by the institution of slavery. The Emancipation Proclamation, issued under Lincoln's presidency, transcended the tactical dimensions of wartime strategy to assert a fundamental moral truth: the imperative of freedom for all. This act was not merely a bid to weaken the Confederacy, but a bold affirmation of the ethical underpinnings of leadership. Lincoln's ability to weave together political necessity, with moral conviction, underscored the essence of conservative thought, where respect for the individual and the sacrosanct nature of freedom is paramount. Lincoln's leadership journey through the Civil War illuminated the critical role of conservative values in steering the nation through its darkest hours. His dedication to the rule of law, even amidst the tempest of conflict, and his insistence on unity, not just as a political necessity but as a moral imperative, showcased the depth of his ethical leadership. His vision for a United States anchored in the principles of liberty and justice for all was a beacon of hope and a moral compass for the nation. In navigating the moral quagmire of his times, Lincoln demonstrated that true leadership is not merely the art of the possible but the steadfast pursuit of the ethical ideal. His presidency is a clarion call to the importance of grounding leadership in a moral vision that respects the dignity of every individual. Lincoln's legacy is a reminder that in the complex moral landscapes leaders must navigate, the conservative values of individual dignity, freedom, and the rule of law are indispensable guides. Vaclav Havel, Moral Authority and the Primacy of Individual Rights. Vaclav Havel's remarkable journey from dissident playwright to the president of Czechoslovakia is a compelling narrative of moral authority wielded with profound impact. At the heart of the Velvet Revolution, which peacefully ended communist rule in Czechoslovakia, was Havel's unwavering commitment to human dignity, individual rights, and the power of nonviolent resistance. His leadership during this pivotal moment in history was not just a political triumph, but a resounding affirmation of the ethical foundations of governance. Havel's emphasis on the primacy of individual rights and the role of individual conscience in societal change resonates deeply with conservative principles. His belief in the moral compass as an essential guide through the trials of leadership underscores the significance of ethical leadership. Through his writings and speeches, Havel articulated a vision of a society where freedom was not merely a political condition, but a lived ethical reality, underscoring the importance of personal integrity and responsibility. His presidency, which followed the peaceful transition from communism to democracy, continued to champion these ideals. Havel's leadership was marked by consistently focusing on creating a society that honored the individual's dignity and fostered a culture of rights and freedoms. His advocacy for environmental issues and human rights on the international stage further illustrated his belief in the interconnectedness of all aspects of human dignity and the global community's ethical responsibilities. Havel's legacy is a testament to the power of ethical leadership grounded in conservative values. His life and presidency highlight how moral authority, rooted in the respect for individual rights and the steadfastness of personal conviction, can inspire change and navigate a nation through times of upheaval. Havel's story exemplifies that true leadership is not merely about exercising power, but the embodiment of principles that elevate the human condition. The timeless relevance of ethical leadership. The narratives of Churchill, Lincoln, and Havel, each distinct in their historical and cultural contexts, converge on a singular truth: the timeless relevance of ethical leadership grounded in conservative values. As society faces the relentless advancement of time and the perpetual emergence of crises, the lessons drawn from these leaders remain relevant and imperative. Their decisions, made in the crucible of their respective challenges, have left indelible marks on the fabric of history, demonstrating the profound impact of leadership anchored in a moral framework. This moral framework, informed by conservative principles, emphasizes the sanctity of individual dignity, the necessity of communal welfare, and the inviolability of fundamental freedoms. It is a testament to the belief that leadership, at its core, is a moral endeavor. Ethical leadership transcends the mere execution of authority. It embodies the pursuit of the common good through adherence to timeless principles that honor the human spirit. As societies worldwide navigate the complexities of globalization, technological disruption, and evolving social paradigms, the call for ethical leadership becomes ever more pressing. The challenges of today, much like those of the past, demand leaders who can navigate the turbulent waters of change with a compass guided by deep ethical convictions and an unwavering commitment to conservative values. The enduring importance of ethical leadership, as illustrated by the lives and legacies of Churchill, Lincoln, and Havel, serves as a beacon for current and future generations. It underscores the necessity of courageous leaders who can face the vicissitudes of their times, guided by a moral compass that prioritizes the welfare of the individual and the collective. Ultimately, the legacy of leadership is defined not by the magnitude of the crises confronted, but by the fidelity to ethical principles and the conservative values that have stood the test of time. Conclusion. In the face of contemporary challenges stretching the fabric of societies worldwide, the enduring lessons from leaders like Churchill, Lincoln, and Havel echo renewed urgency. Their legacies illuminate the path forward, showcasing that ethical leadership, deeply rooted in conservative principles, provides not just a method for navigating crises, but a source of hope for a brighter future. These historical figures demonstrate that true leadership transcends the temporal bounds of crisis, defined instead by a steadfast adherence to the values of integrity, dignity, and freedom. This exploration into the realms of ethical leadership underlines a fundamental truth. A leader's legacy is carved not by the tumults they face, but by the values they uphold. The stories of these leaders, each a beacon of moral conviction in their time, serve as a clarion call to current and future generations. They remind us that in the ledger of history, the most indelible marks are made not by the magnitude of power wielded, but by the depth of ethical commitment and the courage to act in accordance with conservative principles that honor the individual and the collective. As we stand at the crossroads of history, facing global pandemics, environmental crises, and the ever-present challenges of social and political discord, the blueprint offered by ethical leadership is more relevant than ever. It is a testament to the power of values-driven governance and the transformative impact of leaders who navigate with a moral compass. The beacon of hope lit by the ethical leadership of the past guides us toward a future where leadership is measured by its fidelity to principles that transcend time, a future where the legacy of leadership is eternally linked to the noble pursuit of justice, freedom, and dignity for all. Thank you for your time today, and until next time, God bless.